Hi, this is Wrestling Dr. Hal Lee from Pro Wrestling Extra, and I'm sitting here tonight with Jon Davis. He's been on our show before, but we're bringing him back as a single and talk about what he's doing by himself, opposite of the Dark City Fight Club. So, Jon, thank you for sitting down with me again.
My pleasure.
And I'd like to ask you a few questions. You are working a bunch of single matches now, and the promotions you're working. I know you're working for Evolve, and what are some of the other ones?
Dragon Gate USA. Of course, Evolve, Pro Wrestling Rage, where we're at tonight. The other ones are USWA, USCW. We're going to start branching out to the Carolinas with Smoky Mountain and West Virginia. I can't remember what it's called now.
Well, you're all over the East Coast, sounds like.
Yeah.
That's great. In your single matches that you're having, you are a power wrestler out there. And the last match I saw you worked a lighter weight guy. What is your preference on the type of opponent you go up against? I know it doesn't matter who, but what is your preference?
My preference isn't necessarily a weight. I want to be in the ring with the best guys that they have to offer any company. If you're going to get better, if you're going to be the best, you have to beat the best. Recently we did the style battle with Evolve, and I came out on top of that. And the good thing about the style battle is you got guys from 4 different styles. You had Tommy Taylor, who was European. You had A.R. Fox, who was high flying. You had Bobby Fish, who was Borosaru, Japanese lightweight, and you had me, who was heavyweight. They said power a lot just because a lot of the base things that I do. But I feel like in that tournament with Tommy, I wrestled chain and European with that. With A.R. Fox, of course, I'm not going to fly. The idea is to ground him because he's insane. Me and Bobby Fish had a really hard striking match. It's one of those things to where it shows you that so much inspires pro wrestling. It's not just, I'm not just power. It's not just punch and kick. I'm not just picking up guys and throwing them in the turnbuckles. I'm trying to out-wrestle them. I'm trying to be smarter in the ring. So, with that, like I was saying, it's just whoever is the best. That's what I want. Not necessarily one particular body weight or style per se, but whoever's the best wherever I'm at.
You can tell by your ring gear, you are going old school, and I really love that. The mat wrestling, combine that with your power. I'm waiting on you to hit that pounce one day, and the guy's going to go over the top rope. But I was there for the match against Bobby Fish. Great match, touching moment at the end. I know you had considered and thought about retiring up to that point. So this was a match you said you absolutely had to win. After the match, introducing your wife and kids, it was a touching moment. You got a standing ovation. Great match. I'm looking forward to the next Evolve show, which is coming up soon.
Yeah, September 8th in Voorhees, New Jersey. They do the iPay-per-view, so of course if you can't be in New Jersey, www.live.com, you can order Evolve, you can order Dragon Gate, you can order $5 Wrestling, you can order Shimmer, you can order Shine, which is the sister promotion. They have a lot of different companies there. They're trying to showcase more talent, but touching on the retirement thing, it was a win-or-go-home situation for me. I'm trying to prove myself. I've been wrestling for 10 years, and for the longest time, everybody thought that I was just Corey Cherry's light-skinned big partner. They didn't know who I was. What I'm trying to do is, of course, branch out, stand out. People know who I am. With the win-or-go-home situation, it's not just for style battle. It's for Evolve, period. Evolve is a new company, and it's based off of wins and losses. My big thing is when I'm talking to you about something and somebody walks in the back and then turns around and walks away. Anyway, so I'll start that over. My big thing is with Evolve, it's based off of wins and losses. It's what wrestling is fundamentally about. If you look at UFC, the guy with the most wins generally is the champion.
Right.
That's how it should be in pro wrestling. A lot of times you have guys who get title shots because they have a cool gimmick, or they're kind of funny, or they're the booker's friend, or they grew up with him, or went to high school with him, or whatever. But it's not about that. It's about wins and losses. That's what it needs to be. So anyway, what I was saying was that it needs to be wins and losses. I understand that guys are going to get over with the crowd and the fans are going to get behind certain people. But if I'm undefeated and the crowd likes listening to you talk, or they like your gimmick, and you've won one match and lost 36, why are you in the ring with the champion? Why is it a title match? That's not what this business was founded off of. That's not what our sport is about. So with Evolve, I told him this winter go home because I strongly believe that there needs to be an Evolve title. I'm not the first person to talk about this. Low Key's brought it up. El Generico's brought it up. Chuck Taylor's brought it up. A.R. Fox has brought it up. Bobby Fish has brought it up. I mean, the list goes on and on. Countless fans have asked, okay, well, we need an Evolve title. A lot of guys say, okay, well, we need a title. I really like the title, but I'm taking a more active approach, if you will. And on Evolve show, the said one we were just talking about on September 8th, you'll see a little bit more about what I'm willing to do to pursue.
All right, good. Now tonight you're wrestling at Pro Wrestling Rage here at Jacksonville Beach. Do you know who you're wrestling yet?
Wardell Walker.
So you're going to be wrestling against Wardell Walker. I know you're familiar with him. I've seen your match on YouTube. You guys work together really well. I got the feeling tonight it's going to be a hard-hitting, tough match.
Yeah. Well, you know, I was just talking about Wardell the other day. He's one of those guys that it's like he brings the best out of you. You know what I mean? It's like a Jordan versus Bird kind of thing. You know, when I first broke into wrestling and started traveling more and trying to get myself known, he's one of the guys that I was in the ring with a lot. My matches with him actually helped me become the wrestler I am now, the guy that you'll see in the ring tonight. I've learned a lot from him. We've been up and down the roads together. We've teamed with each other. We've teamed against each other. We've fought against each other. But I don't feel like there's a match that I have with him that I don't walk away better. Win or lose, it doesn't matter.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about something I saw the other day. I'm gonna kind of switch here. I want to talk about people that are interested in becoming a wrestler. I know I go to the gym you work out in. I see you every time I'm in there, just about. You're in there hanging and banging and working and doing what you can. And you got any advice for somebody that's looking to get into business? What should they do?
What should they do? I'm going to say this right into the camera. Make sure that this is what you want to do. I understand that there's a lot of people who grow up watching wrestling and they're like, oh, Hulk Hogan was my hero. Or, oh, I want to be like the Ultimate Warrior. Oh, I love Shawn Michaels. Just because they did it doesn't mean that you can do it. If you like football, there's a lot of guys that sit on their couch that can't play, that cheer. There's nothing wrong with being a fan. And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful, and I'm not talking down to anybody, but there is a lot that goes into this. So when you decide that you're going to go to that wrestling school and you're going to get in that ring for the first time, make sure that you know what you're getting into. We don't have an off season. Football, you got a few months and you get to go rest for a few months. This is 52 weekends every single year. And this is just on independent level, not even counting the big companies. 52 weekends, so that's every single year if you're good. If you look at one match, the average running back gets 20 carries in a game. We're taking more than 20 bumps in each match. So we're taking more punishment than any other sport anywhere else in the country. And I'll back that statement up to anyone.
Right. I can agree with that. I want to bring up something that's interesting to me. I want to try to ask all the guys we get interviews with. It's a question that was suggested to me by somebody. Give me, in your opinion, top 5 single wrestlers in the independent scene right now.
In the independent scene right now?
Right now.
Johnny Gargano, the Open Freedom Gate champion for Dragon Gate USA. Roderick Strong, former television champion for Ring of Honor. It's insane how good he is. I'm becoming a fan of Michael Elgin. He's a power guy, but just I get a real Dr. Death feel from him. Like, I don't know what it is about him, but it could be the mullet, but it's something about him. Like, you just kind of get that feeling from him. Adam Cole, fantastic. He's got that, like, young Shawn Michaels, like, you want to cheer for him shopping for groceries look. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you know that he's doing something. And if we're going to round it out on the indies, I'll go with Bobby Fish. He's technically sound. He can fly. He's been all around the world, and his resume speaks for itself.
Very good. Good selection. Let me bring up this. How about top 5 indie promotions?
Top 5 indie promotions. Well, of course, I'm going to say home. Dragon Gate USA Evolve, we'll count that as one. We'll look at Pro Wrestling Gorilla, PWG, out in Cali. We'll look at CZW. We can look at Chikara. I don't even know how I forgot about them. I don't know if I want to call it Ring of Honor an indie or not, but we'll just say Ring of Honor.
Yeah, I think they are as much as Evolve and the Dragon Gate is.
Yeah, but Ring of Honor's got a TV deal, and they've came a very, very long way in a moderately short period of time for pro wrestling as far as exposure. I mean, 10 years ago, nobody knew who they were. They were working in small gyms, and they're on their second TV deal now, and they've had a who's who come through there. So, I mean, 2 of their former champions are current and or former champions in the WWE now.
Right, I'm telling you that match between CM Punk and Daniel Bryan was probably one of the best matches. Right now, I'm looking at the WWE and TNA and seeing independent wrestlers on top. Those guys were in the independent circuit 2 years ago. Now they're headlining.
Well, the thing is and I've always said this, it's easy to go as a WWE talent agent and scout a football player or a singer's son or an actor's son, but they don't necessarily grow up loving the business. Independent wrestling are guys who love the business. You don't necessarily make a whole bunch of money. We're not going to retire off of what we make on the indies. But we contribute to the business. We come up with ideas. We try to stay fresh. It's not easy to do. It's really not. But as far as independents go, when you look at what the independents have contributed to the WWE and TNA right now, you look at CM Punk, you look at Daniel Bryan or Bryan Danielson, whatever you want to call him, Samoa Joe, Austin Aries, the current TNA champ, just in a very short period of time. He's only been there a few months, and before he got signed with TNA, he was done. I sat with him in New York at a diner, and we were talking. He's like, "Man, this is it. This is my last show. Unless something happens, I'm done." 2 days later, he gets a phone call. Now he's the champ. But our passion is what's going to keep this going. Because without guys who are willing to sacrifice themselves and do what needs to be done, then the fans aren't going to have anything to be interested in. It's easy to get behind somebody who is colorful and bright, and we need personalities. I'm not saying that we don't, but at the same time, we need wrestlers.
Well, absolutely. Charisma plays a big part. But you got to know what you're doing in the ring too. It all blends together to make the wrestler. So let me ask you one more question, and then we'll wind it out. I know you saw that match between CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. That was a very brutal match. Those guys were working independent style. Did you notice that? Was that something that...
I did. I've noted it for both of them, actually. Punk's changed a little bit, but it's just what's effective for him where he's at. He's always been able to be, I don't want to say a chameleon, but he's always been able to change with what needs to be changed with. Danielson's style, or Bryan Daniels' style, has been effective wherever he's gone. He doesn't have to change too much. But the way they work is they're given everything that they can. They're not restricted by being too big. They're smaller frame guys, but they're on top because they're fighters and they're really good at what they do.
Okay, one more question. Where do you see Jon Davis in a year?
In a year? In a better place than I am now. And I'm not saying that I'm in a bad place now, per se, but more people will know who I am. And hopefully within that year it's going to bring me some kind of deal and more exposure.
Good. I hope that too. Jon, it's a pleasure talking to you always.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for sitting down with us. This is the Wrestling Doctor, Hal Lee from Pro Wrestling Extra. Thank you.